Hey guys, what the fuck is up, you guys? My name is emandan6242, and welcome to another album review, this time of Have a Nice Life. This is one of the essential Mewcore bands that got me into the whole Mewcore scene. I listened to the album Death Consciousness maybe 3.5 years ago, and it blew me away. Every time listening to it, it got better and better and got higher and higher in my favorite albums. It wasn't until recently for this video that I actually listened to their other two albums. This band only has 3 albums, but I think their discography is very solid. The third and most recent album from Have a Nice Life. This album is definitely the worst by them. It was a solid release, but Sea of Worry lost something that made the band's previous album so great. This album lost that existential dread feeling, that heavy droney sound. This album is much tamer and calmer. It's still a pretty good album, just different. It's all very indie rock, goth rock. Opening track, Sea of Worry, has a cool drum beat and gothic guitars. It's a solid opening. Dracula Bells has this cool guitar melody. I really like both the lead and rhythm guitars. I like the mess of sound that happens near the end of the song. This sound could be so out there and abrasive for some other bands, but this is so tame for Have a Nice Life. Science Beat starts with this strange beat. The song is very warm and inviting. The lead guitars in the second half of the song is cool. Trespassers W is a very straightforward and accessible song. It sounds very modern shoegazy. My girlfriend really likes this kind of music, so I enjoy the sound a lot. Everything We Forget is a calm ambient track. I wouldn't go out of my way to listen to the song over other ambient songs, but it's a nice listen. Lord of Tressorhorn is an odd shoegaze kind of song. It's warm somewhat, but it features the heavy beating drums from the band's earlier work. It feels watered down and out of place, but it's not bad. The closing track, Destinos, is cool. It's a very long song at 13 minutes. It features a very long recording of a preacher preaching about religion and heaven and hell. It sounds cool, but it goes on for 5 whole minutes. When the song starts, it's good, but it feels a bit watered down and not fully realized. It's good, but it could be better. It has that dread feeling that was lacking the whole album. It's a good finale for the album. I have mixed feelings on Sea of Worry, but I'm looking at it objectively, and it is a good album. It may be lacking compared to the band's previous work, but it's really solid. The Unnatural World is another very drony, post-punky heavy album. To some extent, it's more polished and refined with a bigger budget. It does lose some of that raw humanity that made Death Consciousness so real and so good. The album is also nearly half the length at 47 minutes. I think something is lost with this album being so short and only having 8 songs instead of 13, but The Unnatural World is still really solid. The opening song, Guggenheim Wax Museum, is a very ambient, drony song with these heavy beating drums. The vocals are a lot more prevalent compared to the first album. They are louder on top of the already loud instrumental. Defenestration song is a faster, more punchy song. The bass and drums are awesome. It's a gothic post-punk sounding song. Brutal Society has a repetitive electronic sounding synth mixed with piano. It's very out there and grounded at the same time. Music Will Untune the Sky is another drony ambient song. It reminds me of the couple Strange songs off of Death Consciousness, the deeper cuts from that album. Corpsey is my favorite song off this album. It starts out with this disturbing interview of a guy questioning a child about him being punished and sent to some school or facility he doesn't like. The song starts about 2 minutes in. It's loud, fast, and heavy. It's one of the more lively songs. Unholy Life is a strange little song. It's really short at under 3 minutes, so it feels like half a song. It's probably the poppiest song off the album, or at least the most accessible. Dan and Tim, Reunited by Fate, is a really cool song. The bass line is punchy and loud. Halfway through, this electronic synth shows up. The song gets all glitchy and it sounds really cool. The closer, Emptiness Will Eat the Witch, is a great closer. It's ambient and droney. It's dark and depressing. It's kind of the opposite of the song Earth Mover. That song ended with a bang, a loud, earth-shattering sound. This song never picks up, and it never explodes. That's okay. The song is still great. It's another great world-ending song, just in a very different way than Earth Mover. The Unnatural World is a really solid album. I think there are songs worth listening to nearly as much as Death Consciousness. This album is the last of the perfect albums that I have yet to talk about. And boy, what an album this is. Out of the previous albums and bands, I got into Have a Nice Life only about 3 years ago, but this album opened my eyes to so much more music. It's an incredible and emotional masterpiece, start to finish. Death Consciousness never fails to make you feel things you don't want to feel. Easily the most depressing album I've ever listened to. It's so dark and foreboding. It makes you feel a sense of dread and nothingness. It's a complete journey. It starts off with A Quick One Before the Eternal Worm Devours Connecticut, this calming and soothing instrumental ambient track. It's so nice to listen to. It's warm and cold at the same time. The song has one of the best transitions in music history into the next track, Blood Hail. The fading guitar and spoken words right into the loud drums and memorable bass line is so impactful. I get this euphoric feeling from it. I love the guitar and vocals in the song. The chorus part, I guess you would call it, is so good. Each part of the song is memorable and moving. The face is sweaty, arrowheads, thank God it's over. I love every second of this song. Hunter is a chilling song with loud and haunting drums and synths. This song takes a while to pick up, just like multiple other songs off this album, but it's always so rewarding. After 6 minutes, the song gets much louder and faster. The drums are still haunting, but the added guitars add so much. There Is No Food is a really longing song. The layers of whiny guitars, synths, and acoustic guitar. It's a lot and it feels desperate and sad. Waiting for Black Metal Records to Come in the Mail is the heaviest song off this album, in a rock sort of sense. The guitars are very punky, the drums are punchy, it's fast and heavy, the lyrics are political and important. The song gets louder near the end with faster and more chaotic guitars, another layer of the lead guitar and yelling on top. Next song, Holy Fucking Shit, 40,000, calms things down. It's an acoustic ballad. It feels spacey and dreamlike with the echoed and hazy vocals, and spacey synths, but with the acoustic guitars grounding the song. The song compares humans to machines in such a depressing way. I love the line, send me back in time and I'll bring us back in line, just tell me whose mother I have to kill. It's so depressing to think about. 3 minutes into the song, it suddenly gets really heavy with distorted guitars and beating drums. As it fades away near the end, you could hear the acoustic guitars once again. It's an amazing end to an amazing song. Deep Deep is one of my favorites off the album. It's another really heavy song with loud drums and bass. I love the lyrics. I love the second verse and the chorus. It's very punky and it works so well. I Don't Love is easily the saddest song off the album. The lyrics are very direct and to the point about depression and suicide. The instrumental is dreamy and shoegazy. Makes you want to lay in bed and never wake up. The closer, Earth Mover, is an incredible song. It's one of the greatest songs ever written. It's so grand. It feels like the last song you will ever hear before the end of the world. The song is about these immortal, massive golems who roam the earth without purpose. The lyrics are very metaphorical, but it's an allegory about life itself and how meaningless it all is and how meaningless we all are. It's the most emotional song of the album. The song quiets down for a while, Then halfway through, the greatest wall of sound, bass drop, whatever moment happens. I mean, it is the greatest. It is explosive and very emotional. Talking about it doesn't give it justice. There are so many layers that add to this amazing wall of sound. Near the end, one of the two members, Tim, threw the bass down on the ground because it was so emotional. Earth Mover is the greatest album closer of all time and one of the greatest songs of all time. Words cannot express how much this album means to me. It is a monumental piece of art. An incredibly important piece of music. It is an inspiration. It helped me get through tough times, and I will always have a spot for this album in my heart. Well, I was having a nice life. Definitely won't be having a nice life after listening to this band, you know what I mean? Well, see you in the next video. Fuck you.